Cooking safely, yes, right, yeah. That's my final answer. Cooking safely. I'm terrible.
I am a straight donation station in Jupiter.
If you're low on cash, Paul saw him.
Give us a moment, FP. Give us a moment. Right in the middle. Yeah.
Go, squeeze.
Can we just please stop saying this a moment ago?
Subtle signs that you're playing with a stick.
A bag? You want me to be intimidated by a fucking bag?
What is up, Golf Sickos? We are live. We are liver than live. We are in the sun. We are right next to the chipping area here at Muirfield Village for the 50th Memorial Tournament. Not just any memorial, the 50th Memorial Tournament. For me, this is like, as far as PGA Tour events go, this is the PGA Tour at its best.
Yeah, the mecca of the PGA
Yeah,
Tour.
it's just like, we got a lot of trees. Got to get that out there. It's not crazy long. It's an incredible, incredible golf course. Tests absolutely every part of your game. Doesn't really play into the hands of a bomber or a short hitter. You know, everyone kind of has a chance here, and it's an amazing host community that like really relishes this event. We saw it today. I mean, getting in on a Wednesday was crazy. The amount of people out here for a pro-am was out of control.
And then the scene over there with the military
there's a flyover
tribute.
Yeah,
and the flyover.
They paid gave an award to David Graham and to a former colleague of mine, Dave Shedlowski. They gave a journalism award. It's just there's a lot of pomp and circumstance. This is a proud PGA Tour event. It really, and then Jack is the host. Right, like it's like the Arnold Palmer. You know what I mean? It's Jack's event. This is a great one. I'm stoked to be here. We missed it last year because we went to NCAA's. NCAA's going on right now. The final. Cinderella Story UCLA against. It's really a David versus Goliath.
Yeah. What do you think their chances are?
Not big, but I didn't think they had a huge chance to get to stroke play or to get to match play, I should say. And I think they had a huge chance to beat Arizona. They won Big Tens. I mean, they're definitely the hot hand, but Auburn's the big favorite. So we've got a loaded show for you guys today, big show. We've got Siwoo Kim, true friend of the show, like a proper friend of the show. We have Bob Harig on to discuss his new book and also the recent happenings at Sports Illustrated. We're going to hear from Rory McIlroy and Scottie Scheffler and Jack Nicklaus and Brian Rolap and John Rahm, who all did press conferences this week. It's a massive show.
That's a whole lot of golf people.
It is, and you can tell that we're in the sun. And when we are in the sun, there's one constant for the Dan on Golf Boys, and it is the knockarounds. Ben in the panoramas, Dan in the tide pools. We love these. They come with us everywhere. I throw them in my bag. I put sun cream on. I grab them. I don't worry about them because they're durable. They're incredible quality. They're the best sunglasses for the right price. They're the best sunglasses for the right price, and they are the best sunglasses for the right price. We have a promo code for you. If you go to knockaround.com/golf, you can look at all of the sunglasses on offer, and you plug in Dan on Golf 20, you get 20% off your order. So it's really summertime now. I mean,
Thank God for these right now.
We're into June. Like, that is summer. Got to protect the eyes. Got to protect, you got to protect the jewels. You got to protect your skin. And you got to protect the eyes. That's very important.
I knocked these around a bit earlier in the week.
You did. You dropped them.
Yeah, and somebody saw them on the sidewalk and said, those look very nice. I don't want to just let them sit there. And
yeah,
they gave them back
and you
to
picked
me.
them up and there was not a scratch on them.
Knocked them right around.
We'll start with some of the action here at Muirfield Village. So Rory McIlroy is back after a couple-week absence. We don't see all that much of Rory these days. He's picking his spots. This is actually one of the few big tournaments that he hasn't won.
Yeah.
I asked Jack Nicklaus a question in Jack's press conference about how happy he was for Rory because he's kind of been his guide to Augusta National. Like they've had these lunches, these famous lunches now before Masters Week, where Rory walks him through how he's going to play the course, and they discuss the plan of attack. And he told him no fucking double bogeys. That was his message before. He made a few. He made one, I remember, I think it was the 6th hole, maybe it was the 4th hole in the final round, but still got the job done. So he gave this great answer about how he's so happy for Rory, and then he said, Rory really has to do one thing to complete his legacy, and that's win here. He has never won the Memorial Tournament. I'm sure he wants to knock this one off. There's a little bit of beeping going on in the background. We're live. That's what happens. Rory gave us a little update about what he's been up to. So here's Rory McIlroy.
Yeah, I feel a bit like a part-timer these days. But yeah, I had a couple of weeks off. We got ourselves settled in to our house in London for the summer. So it was nice to be over there for sort of like the last 10 days. A little bit of practice, stopped off at Shinnecock on the way to here on Monday, scouted it a little bit and played. So yeah, excited for a nice, a good tournament here. I missed this one last year. It's good to be back. So the course is as hard as ever. So looking forward to the challenge this week.
I think that house in London is not good news for a lot of PGA Tour events. He's been working on the house for a long time, and I think he said in the past that he wants Poppy to get like a proper British education. So it would not surprise me if they start spending a lot more time in London. So it's probably a nice house.
He's, like you said before, he's earned the right to pick his spots.
He can do what he wants to do.
His life's his life now.
He can do what he wants to do. And there's a lot of chatter this week about future schedules. That's been, they tend to make big announcements at the Travelers, which is in a couple weeks. I think that's going to be the case again. Now, our guy Josh Carpenter has been all over this. The tier 1, tier 2, that is the talk of the driving range. The tier 1, tier 2 thing, it is absolutely happening. And it seems like the tier 1 guys are not going to be, I don't know if it's going to be like heavily frowned upon, sort of like masturbating on an airplane, or if it's going to be like outright illegal, like masturbating on an airplane. I'm pretty sure it is illegal, right?
To play in the... Yeah, I'd say that's illegal, yeah.
Yeah, so we don't know what the exact situation is going to be, but the tier 1 guys are going to be like heavily discouraged from playing tier 2, so you won't have situations where like a couple weeks ago when Scottie decides to go play Colonial, and he's playing it. So I think it's going to be, they're going to be locked in to the tier 1 events, and there might be some pushback to that. Of course there will be, right? But there's going to be pushback to anything the tour does, but life will go on. There's nothing that the new leadership can do that is not going to ruffle some feathers. So Rory was talking about the tier 1 or tier 2 thing, but it was actually something toward the end of his answer that caught my attention. Here's Rory again.
I mean, I think with the Track 1 events expanded to 120 players, I think I'd back myself to finish in that top 100 or whatever it is. If I play a limited schedule. So I've been doing this a long time. I've been on tour longer. I've more than half of my life at this point. So, I'll pick and choose my spots like I have been doing sort of the last 18 months to 2 years. And yeah, does it mean it makes it harder for myself to win the FedEx Cup or whatever the season-long title race is going to be called? Absolutely.
So that was what caught my attention. The FedEx Cup or whatever the season-long title race is going to become. I think, I'm pretty sure that the FedEx deal with the tour is up pretty soon. And I feel like that's something the tour might want back. Not saying there won't be a season-long points race, but in the NFL, which a lot of the new leadership comes from, they're not playing for the Cisco AFC Championship or the Knockaround NFC Championship or the Manors AFC Championship or the Zone AFC Championship.
It's just the AFC Championship that Tom Brady won.
Correct. I could see that being like the Jack Nicklaus Trophy or the Tiger Woods Trophy. I think they want to lean into the legacy of the tour and the history of the tour, and so having an event that is, or that you're chasing the whole season. It's one thing to have tournament, to have sponsors. But to have like the thing for because the PGA Tour, you have to remember, they don't own the 4 majors and they don't own the Ryder Cup. They don't sell titles to the President's Cup. But I could totally see them going that way with the FedEx Cup, where it's like the Arnold Palmer Trophy presented by, and then that's maybe how they could use some of that capital that they raised from Strategic Sports Group to put it into that. They have a $2 billion fund, and a couple of us spoke to Brian Roll-Up earlier, that they haven't touched. They're just sitting there that they raised from Strategic Sports Group, and I asked him what they're going to do with that, and he said, we have to get the competitive model first. Once we get the competitive model, then we'll realize maybe we need to buy some golf courses, or maybe we need to buy some tournaments, or maybe we need to fill certain things here or there. So that's something that I could absolutely see happening. Speaking of sort of governance issues, I touched on this. Brian Roll-Up, so we caught up with him earlier this morning, a couple of us reporters. He said they are looking at international events. Because, all the talk of all these signature Tier 1 events, there's not been much talk of ones outside the United States.
Right.
And if there's one thing that LIV has done a good job of, it's highlight that places like Australia, places like South Africa, they're starving for really good golf.
Yeah.
But he said probably in the fall, or kind of toward the end of the season, like fall, winter. And then there was also the DP World Tour. It was announced they renewed their agreement with the Australian Open, which was an important move because LIV's biggest event has been in Australia.
Yeah.
And if LIV, there's some talk about maybe them going to like this National Open thing, maybe they would want to get the Australian Open. No, it stays in the DP World Tour schedule, which means it stays under the PGA Tour umbrella. So I could absolutely see the PGA Tour having events after the end of the season here in the States, where maybe it's a big Dubai event, maybe it's a big Australia event, maybe it's a big South Africa event. There are events. There's the Nedbank in South Africa. There's the DP World Tour Championships in Dubai. There's the Australian Open, and they said they do want to He says they do want to strengthen that allegiance with the European Tour. So I do think that the Tier 1 like that is going to stay in this country. but there are going to be big events that hopefully these guys will play, because if they're now co-sanctioned with the PGA Tour, and you raise a bunch of money and you find some ways to reward these guys for coming, places like Dubai will pay for it.
Yeah, and that's a cool incentive to like go get some global golf in your game if you're a tier 2 player. You're talking
or tier
about
1 player. I'm saying the tier 1 players could go at the end after their season is over.
I think you're talking about a couple of themes, and I like that because it's consistent. One is that the PGA Tour and Brian Rollap seem like they're listening to the fans, and I think the Australia move, and even though it's more of a DP World Tour move, like the tours are listening to people they're answering the call of like, don't forget about Australia. And then the ownership thing, like everybody's been talking about, what does the PGA Tour want to own? What does it want to like go buy and take back? They already own the point system, so it makes sense to start there.
Yeah.
In terms of,
I mean, think about how much the word FedEx gets used in every single broadcast.
It's a lot.
It's and after, I think it's like contractually obligated that after every single with the winner interview.
Yeah.
When they go into not the Amanda one, but when they go to do the press conference.
Yeah.
The first question is always like, this moves you to X in the FedEx Cup. Talk about what that means for you.
Well, they always put the standings up too right after that interview.
And that
on the
probably,
screen.
these NFL people are probably like, when they win the NFL and when you win the AFC Championship, you're not showing like immediate branding. So it's something to keep an eye on. Also to keep an eye on, Brian Rollap they're being very careful in talking about LIV guys potentially returning, because they don't want lawsuits. They don't want breach of contract lawsuits. I think both guys who have come back or started the process of coming back, you have Brooks Koepka and you have Patrick Reed. Both of those guys said, I'm out of contract, let's work something out. So he's not going to make any comments about guys who are in contract, because I think there's
Plus, he's got Kenny Kim's idea in his head now, and he's like,
just let
I'm
everyone
seriously
back.
considering it.
Well, the Kenny Kim idea is not going to happen. Not going to happen. I can tell you that right now, because I did ask Brian Rollap this question, and let's hear from Brian Rollap.
Knowing that nothing is official until it's official as far as the LIV guys go, but you could be looking at a situation where a lot of guys in August are looking to come back. What's the current thinking on what that process might look like?
I've said this publicly. I will cross that bridge when we get to it, but they're under contract. As long as they're under contract, there's not a lot to talk about. I don't know what's going on over there. I read what you read, and I think if you look at a situation like Brooks, who it was the same thing. I think he wanted to come back, and we said, you need to remove yourself from whatever contractual obligations you have. He did that. And then once he did that, it opened a discussion. And we created something that sort of worked for us and for our members. I think we're always open to that, but we're an organization of rules, and rules have to be enforced. You might as well not have an organization. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Right now, we're just sort of focused on controlling what we control.
Yeah, so there's not going to be any answers on that front until the season's over. Let's move this.
And that's okay.
Yeah, Ben made a really lovely handmade DIY Dan on Golf sign for our people watching on YouTube.
Taking care of it.
Which, if you are watching, please smash that like button and subscribe.
Nice.
It makes a big difference for us. Also, if you're listening on the podcast, leave us a review, please. Jack Nicklaus also spoke with media on Tuesday. It's always a very cool experience.
Crowded room for Jack.
Very crowded room. There was a ton of local media that this is probably one of their, only chances to talk to Jack throughout the whole year. Jack's 86, doesn't move as quickly as he used to, doesn't speak as quickly as he used to, but he's 100% there.
Yeah.
Mentally. He's making jokes, and kind of out of nowhere, he went on a little bit of a tangent about the PGA Tour schedule and what he foresees to be problems with it. Let's hear from the Golden Bear.
I don't want to comment on the tour schedule, because I'm not exactly in favor of what they're doing right now. But I haven't really had a conversation. I want to sit down with Brian and Jay and have that conversation. I hate to see tournaments bunched too much together with too big tournaments, or too many big tournaments too close together. That's a problem, I think, and I think that's going to be a problem for the tour in the future. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, and probably shouldn't have brought it up here. I'll get chastised for that later.
It's obviously funny, but it's something that Brian Rollap is battling, right? It's very difficult. Anytime you come into a new organization, especially one as traditional as golf, with as much history as golf, you're going to ruffle some feathers, and it's got to be hard for Brian Rollap to hear that and think, I appreciate his input, but I'm not listening, because I think what Rollap would say is, we want every event to feel big.
Yeah.
We're not satisfied with only having the Riviera. They've talked about the PGA Tour has been like, how do we replicate as many Players Championships as we can? If you've been to the Players Championship, Alex and I know we're big Players Champions. You know what I was just thinking about, Alex? I think the fact that Rory McIlroy went to go play Shinnecock before the tournament is disgusting. I think it's a very unfair advantage.
Yeah, he shouldn't get that.
But Alex Bush and I were huge Players Championship guys. It's the best tournament of the year, in my opinion, as far as on site. And so they're not saying, how do we make room around the Players Championship? They're saying, how do we replicate the Players Championship on a weekly basis? But
it's exhausting, but he's saying, I don't give a shit how exhausting it is. Try playing football 18 weeks in a row.
Yeah, and also these guys, one thing that's been consistent with the tour and what they've been talking about is there's not going to be a requirement for these guys to play a certain amount of events. If you're Rory McIlroy, you can show up to the events that you want. But if you make events feel big, there's a reason guys don't skip this tournament. There's a reason guys don't skip Riviera. There's a reason guys don't skip the Players. It's because there's a lot of money, and it's a great golf course, and there's a great, it's a great experience for the players.
Don't forget, these guys have like a dozen corporate sponsors each that they want to be seen on Getty Images and on the interviews and in the winner's
They're not going to want to miss the big weeks. So it's not about making space around the big weeks. It's about more big weeks.
Yeah.
So but I do think it's difficult. Like, it's got to be hard for Brian Rolapp, a guy who comes from outside of golf, to hear Jack Nicklaus say this stuff, and he's going to have that conversation, and I'm sure he's going to be very diplomatic, but he's going to have to explain that, like, the PGA Tour as you knew it is not what the PGA Tour of tomorrow is going to look like, and that's, probably Jack is 86 years old. He's just going to say what he thinks, and he's not invested in the 15 or 20 year window in the same way, and I can say that because he dropped a hilarious line. One of the journalists from Toledo, Ohio, Inverness, I guess, is getting the U.S. Open again, Inverness and Toledo. And Jack was asked about major championship golf returning to Ohio, and here's what he had to say.
It was just announced that the U.S. Open is coming to Inverness in 2045, which is crazy to think about. But
2045?
Yeah.
I hope you have a nice event.
It's great to hear him still in great spirits. So
it's awesome.
We're going to talk to Bob Harig later in the show. He wrote a book about Tiger versus Jack, so we're going to get some good Jack stuff. So all this is happening while LIV is playing on maybe their best golf course, Valderrama. I've never been there in Andalusia, but as a tree guy, I've seen pictures. It's kind of the holy Mecca.
Yeah.
That or Sahali, which I do think is going to have a PGA Tour event, by the way. Big tree pro tree. Actually, before we talk about LIV, let's talk about Scottie Scheffler, because he kind of talked about trees a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, there's also been some rollback talk.
Adjacent.
I think the players had a meeting about the rollback. There's been chatter of Cameron Young using a ball that's already conforming, and is the rollback going to go far enough? And Alex is rolling his eyes because there's mowers going behind me. There's absolutely nothing I can do about it.
This is it. This is Wednesday night on site, baby.
This is
Andy said they're going to land a helicopter.
This is the this is the Wednesday show. But so Scottie was also about the golf ball rollback, and if he sort of talked, maybe not trees, but more corridors, which are created by trees. Let's hear from Scottie Scheffler.
You look at certain golf courses that we have that are great tests, like a Colonial or a Harbor Town, and they're not overly long golf courses, but it challenges you in different ways. And I feel like they're doing it to make the game of golf a little bit more difficult at the elite level, which I understand. But golf is the easiest game in the world to make hard. Like, if you just make the area small to have a guy to hit the ball into, he's going to try and learn how to control it. When the corridors are big and the greens are big and there's not many trees in your way, guys are going to learn how to hit the ball far. You know, I grew up on a course in Dallas where, when I was growing up, it was a tight Parkland-style golf course, and you had to learn how to hit fairways. The fairways were firm, and if you started hitting the ball offline, the ball would run off into the trees. So I learned how to hit the ball straight. I learned how to curve the ball both directions. And if I grew up on one of these golf courses that had been restored, I'm not going to name any of those golf courses, but there's certain ones where if I grew up on that golf course, I would be like, oh my gosh, I got to learn how to hit the ball so stinking far, because the fairways are wide and the penalty for missing them is not severe enough, in my opinion.
I'll say the golf courses: Aronimink, Oakmont, the ones where they clear out the trees.
We made a list of them on the show a few weeks ago.
This is what I've been saying. You either got to cut the ball back like 30%, which is not the proposed rollback, or you have to put more trees out on golf courses.
I've never heard somebody more naturally say stinking instead of fucking.
What was the?
You got to hit the ball so stinking far.
Stinking? That's a good one.
You didn't even have to try.
He's a nice guy.
Clean.
You know,
he's
a nice guy. You know who's also a nice guy? Brad Dahlke. So Brad Dahlke of Good got a sponsor invite into the Rocket Don't Say Mortgage Classic. So it's the year of Brad. It's an interesting pathway for these. Like, Ryan Ruffles was outside of the PGA Tour picture, has success in the creator space, played in the PGA Tour event, made the cut in the PGA Tour event. He was co-leading at one point. Brad Dahlke didn't have a lot of success as a pro golfer, moves over to YouTube, has a ton of success in the YouTube world, Creator Classic world, and now he's getting not one.
Won the Internet Invitational.
Won the Internet Invitational. He gets 2 PGA Tour starts. So he's playing at the Rocket Don't Say Mortgage Classic and the Good Championship in Austin. So big
this
opportunities.
Made me think about the Rocket Don't Say Mortgage Classic. If they're looking at all these tournaments, like, yes, that's a smaller event, but it has way more identity than its contemporaries, I feel like the city of Detroit rallying around that. I hope something is made of it, whatever happens with the schedule. That's a good one. I think it has a lot of strong
there was
identity.
a lot of those Midwest events are proud. There was a report that came out yesterday that the tour had asked the John Deere to move out of the Quad Cities and move into Chicago. That was refuted. Our guy Josh Carpenter got in touch with the tournament director because of course he did. And he refuted. The tournament director said that's not true, but there was a big backlash. They were like, "This is and that's the thing. It's very easy to say, oh, let's have PGA Tour events in New York and Miami, and then you go to Miami like we did a couple weeks ago, and there's no one there. There's something for an event having been in a place. This event has been here 50 years.
Yeah.
This event is part of the fabric of Columbus.
Yeah, we're seeing the mecca of it right now.
Right.
in Columbus. Yeah, in Dublin.
The John Deere.
And the Players is the same way in Ponte Vedra.
Totally. It's part of the community.
Yeah.
And part of that, I think, is from being in communities where it's not, there's F1 going on and there's, all these different, not distractions, but different entertainment options.
So preserve Detroit. You don't have to have a car being built on the fairway for it to feel like its own thing.
Yeah. All right, so let's move over to Spain into the LIV universe. Jon Rahm, he's got a home game, sort of a home game, in Andalusia. He's won the Spanish
we'll
Open.
Call it a home game.
Yeah, he's won he's in Spain. He's won the Spanish Open 3 times, and he lost in a playoff once, but those were in Madrid. He has not won at Valderrama, so I'm sure that's one that he wants to tick off.
Big time.
So we know LIV is in the middle of raising money or selling the teams or selling the whole league, whatever they're doing over there. And we know that Bryson has been a key part of that. He's been in the meetings.
A seat at the table.
He's a seat at the table, exactly. And Rahm was asked if he too has any interest in being in the room where it happens, as they say. Here's Jon Rahm.
I know nothing about business. I'm never going to claim to know anything about business. And if I was in a business pitch, I would not know the first thing to say. My job is to play golf. I'll say it's hard enough as it is, especially this week. But if any player who knows what they're doing is willing to do certain things like that, I think it can only help. The insight from a player on a meeting like that can help. And, I'm open for any suggestions possible. But I will also say I don't have the free time that Bryson has to be flying around the country to attend meetings with 3 little ones, one on the way. So even if I wanted to, I don't know if I could do it.
3 little ones and 1 on the way. He's on a Webb Simpson pace.
Yeah, he is. He brought up something about Bryson that I think you said early on, which is like Bryson can do what he's doing right now because he's a single guy with no kids. Like
he can hop on the private jet whenever he wants. He's
made in a lab to be the YouTube / professional golfer.
Yeah, he's got nothing tying him at home. He's living the bachelor life. He did say, I saw on a podcast, that he is he wants to start a family soon. So maybe he gets the LIV deal done and then starts a family. But Rahm, I don't want to say 1 foot out the door, but they're going to come to him with an offer or a vision of what the future of LIV is going to look like, and he's either going to say yes or no. He's not a Bryson guy who wants to be part of that process, and he's certainly not a Cameron Smith guy, who I think Cameron Smith might be the most, other than this side of Greg Norman, the most pro LIV guy.
Yeah, true LIV guy.
And he says it with his chest, and I kind of appreciate it. When they had the returning member program and they offered that immediate return to, it was Brooks and Rahm and Bryson and Cam. Brooks took it. Rahm and Bryson have been equivocating, right? Trying to put themselves in a good position to leverage. Smith was like, I'm here to support LIV.
He was like, I'm good.
I'm here to support LIV, and I respect that. And
sure.
So he made these comments to a journalist, Tom Frost, I believe his name is. Frosty Golf. Let me just check. I don't want to get this wrong. Sam Frost of the Mirror US, and he was asked whether he thinks that the prize money in LIV is going to continue to be what the prize money in LIV has been, which is $30 million every single week, which is just insane to think about. And I appreciated the honesty here. He said, this has been an awesome 4 or 5 years for us golfers, for everyone around the world, really for the golfers. It's changed a lot of things, but I think realistically, it's time for prize money to come back to the way it was. It was obviously not working, and it's pretty far-fetched realistically. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure there are going to be a lot of exchanges, particularly with prize money next year. He's calling balls and strikes. I appreciate it. He's basically saying this has been fun, boys.
We had our fun.
This has been fun. It's kind of like me, senior year of college. It's been super fun, probably pretty far-fetched and not realistic to continue.
Which is probably what a lot of the inside conversations were when these guys were making decisions.
100%.
Like, listen, guys, have your fun while you can. This thing won't last forever. If it does, you're going to be the richest person I've ever known. If it doesn't, you're going to be the richest person I've ever known.
Yeah, no, 1,000%. I remember having a conversation with my dad actually at the beginning of this, and I was like, what would you tell, if I was going to say, take the money? Like, that money's not, this is not like always going to be a thing. Like, absolutely get your money while you can have it. And I think this is going to be when the guys who went to LIV are as old as some of the guys that we saw at the ceremony today. I think that's what they're going to look back and be like, remember when we played for $30 million in a shotgun start, 54 holes every week? Like,
yeah, they're not going to be like, oh, we're not like hanging on the wall at Memorial for those years because, or maybe they will because they are hanging on the wall and they're John Rahm and Bryson right next to each other.
But yeah, I mean, those guys, there's a pathway back for the best players. This is why I've always said, my comments about LIV, I don't think it's a good model. I don't necessarily think it's been great for the overall golf ecosystem, but on an individual level, I will never begrudge anyone for going and getting money that, like he said, was just far-fetched. Like, just money that sounded... I remember when these first numbers first started coming out in these reports about LIV, and it was like $50 million. You're like, $50 million?
Yeah.
And then it was all of a sudden, it was like $200 million and like $300 million.
Well, when the names Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods started getting thrown. Remember when it was like, what are they going to offer Tiger?
Tiger was like $800 million or whatever.
$1 billion.
I mean, Tadeki reportedly said no to $300 million. So
yeah, it was a big one.
I'm trying to outlast this mower. I think he's almost done here. I'll just bring the mic.
We're in a battle, but it's an outdoor sport, Dan.
It is an outdoor sport. Things happen. It's shaping up to be a great week. You can see these greens behind us. They are absolutely perfect. The rough might be a little bit shorter than it has been in years past, but I think that's largely because of how firm the greens are. And this is a great week to watch golf. You're going to see there's a lot of separation at this course. Like, you see Roundup, obviously the one where they were so bunched up. They were bunched up last week too, to be fair. And this week you're going to see a lot of guys shoot 4 or 5 under. You're going to see a lot of guys shoot 6, 7 over. It's a course that really forces people to separate. So
a lot of the practice that I saw today was very similar to the practice I was seeing in Roundup too. Like, guys trying to hit short chips out of thick rough and hold.
Yeah, they're not. These greens are not as slopey, and I don't think that the pins will be in the same spots that they were at Aronimink. But yeah, it's a great week for the PGA Tour, and I like that there's a week between it and the U.S. Open. It feels like kind of a moving into the proper heat of summer.
I like what you said about this, like being a sort of like quintessential PGA Tour event too. It feels like an OG that there aren't a ton of anymore. Even that the clubhouse and the surroundings here all feel very like original, like the green awnings and the tile roofs on the structures and everything, like kind of feels like it's the 70s or the 80s around here.
Yeah,
even the 90s.
I wish that I got to see Bay Hill before Arnie passed.
Yeah,
I didn't, but I imagine him being around had the same feel as you think he's done? Alex is saying going away, has the same feel of this place, where it's like there's a legend. People aren't going to skip this event because of Jack's here and because the tournament is so awesome. So
I'm new around here, so I gotta this feels like I'm at a tournament that I missed out on already.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And now I get to experience it.
The good news is you're still a young man.
How about the scoreboards in the media center? They still do it manual.
They don't
old
do
school
that.
style.
No, they have them up there, but I think everyone's just on the computer. Unfortunately.
Oh no, Keith told me they still do it. Come on, Keith.
They do. I don't know. I don't really stay during tournaments anymore, so I wouldn't know. If Keith said yes, I mean Keith, I don't know how that guy maintains a family.
I saw the name tags in there, so maybe they're, I don't know. It's pretty sick. Even that it's there.
It's a nice touch.
Awesome.
It's a nod to history. All right, it's time for a Mind Your Manners. That's near and dear to my heart. So growing up, Sports Illustrated was the gold standard of sports journalism. It is now a shell of what it once was. There have been layoffs and layoffs and layoffs, and just this week, one of the truly great people in golf, one of the great golf journalists, Bob Harig, was let go along with other staff covering golf at Sports Illustrated. For SI to be out of the long-form journalism game in golf is pretty unthinkable. The list of legends who called that place home, Herbert Warren Wind and Dan Jenkins and Rick Riley, and yes, it pains me to say, but Alan Shipnuck. Just remember to mind your manners to these companies that own media properties. Like, you're messing with history. It's not, these jobs and their role in this world is not as simple as a balance sheet. I understand journalism is changing. we do something different here, but I refuse to believe that there's not space for the good, honest, in-depth work that someone like Bob does. And there are outlets that are thriving with long-form work because they invest in it. They don't strip it down to a skeleton of what it once was. It's just a huge bummer to see Sports Illustrated. I mean, Sports Illustrated Golf. I've read so many incredible stories and game stories, and Jack on the cover and Tiger on the cover. Like, it's a part of the sport. And for them to be basically saying we're not doing this anymore, it's just a sad state of affairs.
It bums me out a lot. I mean, you're a magazine guy or former magazine guy. I'm a former magazine guy.
I was part of one of those layoffs at Sports Illustrated once upon a time.
Yeah, and I think that we're witnessing at large, not just with SI, like the death of an art form. It's not even like the death of a medium, really, because we talk about this all the time. You still do reporting and writing, even though you're not writing feature stories anymore. Like,
we do long-form interviews a lot.
We do long-form interviews. We do it all in a different way. Like, these people that are losing their gigs, like, they're still capable of adding value to the storytelling matrix. And it's just sad that, like, that art form is not being valued as it was, because if you've ever sat down and read a 5,000, 7,000 word story, or even sometimes a 700 word news story written in the right way from a guy like Bob
with the right
Harig,
context, and knowing a guy, like, you trust a guy, so if he says something, you know it's true and it carries weight.
Yeah, like, it's different than going on TikTok and saying, well, this one had the most algorithmic juice. So
just sad, just a sad state of affairs. All right, let's bring on the man himself. Bob Harig. Bob, how you doing? Can you hear me?
I sure can. How are you, Dan? Thanks for having me.
I'm good, and thanks for joining. We're going to talk to you about your book, Tiger versus Jack, because this is Jack's place, and it's a Jack week. But first, I do have to ask how you're holding up, and also, like, how did you get this news? Did you feel like another round of layoffs was coming?
Yeah, we kind of had gotten a clue that something was coming down. It was a bit of a tough time for people for about a week, just right after the PGA Championship. And, I don't know what narrative they're going to spin, but it's basically, the company that we work for that publishes SI, called Minute Media, had a horrific business deal go bad that we were told about not that long ago. And then boom, right afterward, they're cutting 12% of their workforce. It wasn't just across SI, it was across some of their other platforms. But as you guys were just talking about, I mean, look, this isn't so much about me in the sense that, wait a minute, you're getting rid of golf too? Like, the whole thing? Like, both of the full-time people I work with at SI were let go. Great guys, Jeff Ritter and John Schwab. I mean, like, you're going to get rid of the entire vertical. And, look, there's a lot of news in golf. I mean, you guys are talking about long form, but a lot of the business today is the whole page view quest, the whole, the page view. It's like drugs. The people at these publications are addicted to it. And it's unfortunate because you chase your tail, the dog chasing his tail, trying to get them. But when you're chasing news, as I have basically done for my entire career, that works. Like, nothing really replaces it. And so it's just unfortunate. It's sad. I'm more sad than angry. And, I'm going to find other things to do. I already have other things to do. But I just sit there and go, wait a minute. Like, a month ago, we had 6 people at the Masters in this big house, and we had 4 people at the PGA, but now all of a sudden you think it's not worthy? Just, you can make up your own mind as to how these kinds of decisions are made, and maybe the scapegoating that's going on.
100%. Well, I know you're going to land on your feet, and one thing you are very good at is writing books. So let's talk about this book. You've written how many books on Tiger now, and what's been your experience writing books about the defining player of our generation?
Yeah, this is the third where I've leaned into Tiger. I did one that had to do with him and Phil. This was before LIV, so that was several years ago now. And then I did one just on Tiger alone, called Drive, The Lasting Legacy of Tiger Woods, in which I kind of just dove into, some of the things behind his greatness, frankly, his drive, like examples of, I think I had a whole chapter on the 2020 Masters, where after Tiger hit it in the water on on 13 and made what, his highest score ever as a pro in a tournament, a 10.
Yeah, he made
he
10,
came
yeah.
back and he came back and played the last 6 holes of the tournament in 5 under. I mean, like, he had nothing to play for. It was the COVID Masters. It didn't matter where he was going to finish. Scottie Scheffler and Shane Lowry played with him. They were amazing talking about that. Like, they just couldn't get over it, you know. And that's sort of Tiger. And obviously, this year, this one is more. You know, I got to thinking, the 40th anniversary of Jack's last Masters. Tiger just turns 50. It seemed like a good time to compare and contrast them.
Absolutely. And do you think Tiger? How do you think Tiger feels about the comparison to Jack? Because obviously, you know, if he's asked this question publicly, he's going to give a diplomatic answer. Do you feel like he feels he's done enough to get his nose in front?
Yeah, I think Tiger answers this question by saying Jack's the greatest champion, and that's sort of maybe where he leaves it, and that's fine. And I think certainly you can argue that. I mean, Jack's got the most majors, you know, but I think deep down, Tiger probably feels like he was the greatest player. And he might not ever say that because he is going to defer to Jack. But there's so many aspects of this that point to that. You know, as great as Jack was, Jack never won a major by 15 or frankly by 12 or 8. You know, Tiger did that, you know, at 3 different majors, you know, and, you know, Tiger did it in an era when I think it was harder to do. I think it's harder for Scottie Scheffler to win now than it probably was for Tiger 20 years ago. Well, certainly it was tougher for Tiger to win than it was for Jack. And that's no knock on Jack or any of the people he beat. That's just how sports evolve, how fitness evolves, how equipment, how courses, how athletes get better. And so that's all part of the debate.
So how do you go about comparing eras? Like, that's a really difficult thing to do. They had some overlap. 1998, I remember the year after Tiger won the Masters by 12, he lost to 58-year-old Jack Nicklaus, who finished, I think, tied for 6th. But their primes were nowhere near each other. How do you go about laying those two resumes next to each other?
Yeah, it's very difficult. I mean, you know, how do you compare Babe Ruth to Barry Bonds? You know, obviously there's a difference. There's a difference in who was playing. There's a difference in style. You know, Jack played with persimmon woods. He played with a golf ball that might not have always been perfectly round, especially early in his career. You know, Tiger had great equipment, but I try to argue too that the advances in equipment actually narrowed the gap on Tiger. You know, if Tiger had to play with a persimmon wood, he might have beat people more because Tiger could strike it. You know, he could hit it in the middle of the club face. He's still, I'm convinced, you know, when he ever does come back, we'll still see an elite ball striker. You know, what holds Tiger back now is just the lack of prep. There's so many you know, delicate shots in golf. There's so many things that, you know, these guys are honing their skills all the time. But Tiger can still hit golf shots. You know, and I think the equipment change, you know, might have actually hurt him. But still, you know, he was gaining from it in ways also. You know, one thing I point out in the book that really stands out to me is when you talk about the difference in eras. When Jack got to 50 PGA Tour wins in 1973, I believe he did it about a month before Billy Casper did. And they were the 5th and 6th players in history to get there. I mean, Sam Snead had done it, Byron Nelson, Arnold Palmer, Ben Hogan, and then those two. And nobody else got to 50 until Tiger about 20 years ago. 20 years ago, and nobody else has done it since. Phil got to 45. I mean, Tom Watson won 39. You know, he played at an era when it was probably a little bit easier to win than it is now, but yet he couldn't get to that number. All these great players, look at them. I mean, Rory's at 30. If Rory gets to 40, that's a phenomenal career, and yet it's halfway to Tiger. So, like, I kind of point to things like that, you know, like 15 in some ways, you know, might be the new 18 because it was just harder to do it. There's nobody, in Tiger's era who got to double-digit majors. When Jack was playing, the closest anybody got to him was halfway. And so since Tiger's been playing, the best anybody has done is Rory and Phil at 6. That to me suggests it's harder to do. And so that I think is an argument in Tiger's favor.
All right, well, I'm going to put you on the spot. You're the author of the book, Tiger or Jack?
Well, it's a little more complicated than that. I actually make the argument that you can argue for both. I mean, if you asked me to argue for Jack, I could. If you asked me to argue for Tiger, I could. In the end, and it's very nuanced and how I get there, I pick Tiger, but no knock on Jack. There's so many things about Jack that are amazing. Like 35 of 40 top 10s in majors in the 1970s. That's just Jack's longevity compared to Tiger. We're talking about Adam Scott about to play his 100th major in a row. Nobody has got to that number except for Jack, and he had 146. He played in majors for 36 plus years, never missed one. I mean, look at where we are with Tiger. He's in the midst of missing eight straight again, and he's only 50. Jack played all of the majors from age 22 through age through the U.S. Open of age 58. You mentioned the Masters in '96. Wow. In 98. He played the U.S. Open after that, and then he didn't play the British for the first time, and that was because he was having his hip redone. I mean, he beat Tiger at that Masters in '98 with a bad hip, a year after Tiger won it by 12. So there's tons of compelling arguments for Jack. But, as I said, it's nuanced. There's a lot more to it. I mean, when Jack was winning, when Jack won his first Open at Muirfield in 1966, so, we're talking 60 years ago, there was only 6 or 8 Americans in the field. When he, as late as 1980, when he won the U.S. Open at Baltusrol, there was only about 10 international players in the field. It was harder for them to get in the U.S. majors. Obviously, Tiger's having to play, and even more so today, players from countries all around the world. And so I think that made it harder.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Bob. I think what happened is a shame, but I have no doubt that you'll land on your feet because you're one of the truly good ones in this business. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks a lot for having me, guys. Nice talking to you. Appreciate it.
See you soon. All right, Ben. It's time for...
Is it my time?
It's your time to shine.
You're going to have to be on sign duty.
We're almost in golden hour here. The mowers have stopped. It's
Finally
lovely.
Got rid of the mowers.
Okay, golfers wearing clothes. Let's do it.
This is golfers wearing clothes. So I went through last week's Charles Schwab Challenge to try to find who the best and worst dressed golfers were. A lot of good, some surprises. Let's get started with Michael Brennan.
Long sleeve.
Made it on with the... oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. We have Nelly Korda first. I forgot. This happened yesterday. Nelly showed up to the U.S. Women's Open at your Paramore with a U.S. national team soccer jersey on, or football, if you will.
So I saw this, and
Pretty cool.
I thought, okay, surely she was just going to wear this, like, walking in. Nope, wore it the whole day.
All day. And there's also, you don't see it here, but there's like a jacket that comes with it that's very similar to the skirt. I mean, it was like almost high fashion runway stuff. And then she played golf in it.
Yep.
That's just so baller.
Flexing. It's a big week for the women.
Okay, speaking of flexing, a guy who flexed recently, but this was a shirt that he had on.
Yeah.
You called this out during the watch along, and it caught my eye. I like the long sleeve shirt.
I love a long sleeve shirt.
You don't see a lot of it on tour. You see a lot of long sleeves under short sleeves. But I also wanted to put, these are these FootJoys that you love and that I wear all the time, the FootJoy Marquee.
Those are classy.
The belt is also the Western style belt tipped with metal that I love.
It's nice in Texas.
I just thought he looked really well put together and had a little bit of nod to like that Texas. Like these are like the cowboy boots of golf shoes almost, with all the broguing around them.
Okay.
Broguing's that like the holes
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So I really thought it was themed without being like a costume. I really like Michael Brennan.
Next up?
Nenext up was JJ Spawn, another one that I pointed out during the watch along to you. Yeah, nice. He wears this Puma shirt. He wears Puma shirts every week, but this This one, I liked the stripe on it. It just kind of worked for me. It felt like a classy stripe, and it really made that that nice, whatever nice is. We don't know what it is yet, but it made it pop out of the shirt, even despite the exclamation point.
The sponsor stuff, they're part of they wear it every day. It's part of, if you have a big ugly logo, it's harder to look good. So nice job, nice.
I would love to, if I was a pro golfer, consider what color my logos were when I picked the shirt.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That would be a good move. Okay, I got a duo coming up next of the same guy. This is Chandler Phillips.
Okay. Got the mustache, usually.
Yeah, he looked great. This is also a Texas homage. So on the left, I love the lighting of this photo. It it looked very Manors to me.
Okay.
So that's why I picked it. Like the tones, the silhouette. You can see how his pants fit, how the shirt fit. Very Manors to me. And you can see on the right the details on the shirt. That's all like Texas homage stuff. I usually crap on these kind of shirts.
No, that one's a little bit more consistent. Usually you crap on the ones where there's like some areas where it looks like a doodle. This is more of like screen printed.
It's a little more consistent and thought out. I don't love the illustrations, but look at the left. Like it's totally fine when you pull it out like that. So we're all good, Chandler Phillips. I really like what you're doing. Next up is the weekly Gatorade shower guess. With Hideki Matsuyama.
You're just obsessed with this guy.
I love Hideki's fits, man. Look at this. It's like a coral, like it's not red, it's not pink, it's not orange. It's kind of like a combination of those things. And he's playing with the white pants rule. One thing I don't usually talk about that I always notice, that he always matches the Strixon on the hat to the shirt that he's wearing. So when he's wearing the yellow shirt on Sundays, you'll see the Strixon as a yellow outline.
It's little touches, man.
Subtle touches.
It can make the whole outfit look put together.
That's personal style for you. Hideki makes the list yet again. I think we should go back and see who's on a streak right now of like being on it every week.
Hideki would be one of them for sure.
Funny enough, Jason Day is not on the list this week. Yeah, he just didn't make it. Next up is the big dog, Christo Lamprecht.
Christo, struggling on the golf course, but not in the fashion streets.
Another example of when a pattern is like actual art. When you get tight in on this, it's hard for us to see in the sun, but like. This pattern's very well thought out. Like it's a piece of art. You could see it on a canvas in your home. That's when it works on the shirt. Is when it, in and of itself, the pattern works.
Not all patterns are created equal.
Not all patterns are created equal. Another man is next up who's streaking right now when golfers wearing clothes. Justin Thomas.
Yeah, he's been having a big year. We should at the end of the year we're going to go back and do the most appearances.
Yeah,
JT's up there, man. He's
going to be up there with Decky and with J Day. Yeah, these are just lilac pants, man. When his name goes away, you'll see they're not like big baggy pants. They kind of are breaking right at his ankle, which is not usually the kind of length that we're looking at here, but he's got great shoes on. You got to show him off. Why not show every inch of them? And then the belt obviously is like a gator or croc. I don't know my
your taxidermy.
What are those? Yeah. Amphibians?
Amphibians.
Well enough, but
I think that's right.
Really good. Okay, another member of the amphibian family here with his belt, our friend Harry Hall, who we almost got a garm from the guy.
Yeah, I got to tease again, man. He told me that he had the hat, and he said he had the hat in the locker, and I said, okay, let me know when you're done practicing, and then we missed it again.
We'll find him.
It will happen eventually.
He's playing well. We'll see him out here again.
We will see him.
But white pants rule plus gator belt plus a PK polo. Like not really. I don't think there's any polyester in that polo that he's wearing. So I got a respect for that.
Alex just got a PK polo. He's gonna love it too.
That's right. Alex just got a Manors hat too. All right, next up, the man with all the right excuses, Garrett Higo. So we did get a Malvin guy in here.
Yep.
I just like the stripe on this shirt. Everything else just it fits him right, but you don't often see the striped shirt from Malvin. They're usually solids, or there's something even crazier going on.
It's pretty tame Malvin shirt.
Shows you that they can do tame well too. Okay, now we're off the hinge now.
Oh God,
we've got.
I get nervous when we go off the hinge.
A friend of the program here, who's been on the good list 2 weeks in a row, but he's gonna go ahead and
It's Nico.
It's Nico. Nico wore the same shirt that I commented on at first, and then he commented to you. He wore the shirt again, so clearly he doesn't care what I'm saying, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Not everybody has to care, but I'll keep calling it out.
You
when
just
he
don't
wears
like that
again.
shirt.
Just don't like that shirt, and I couldn't see the Morton logo in that photo, so that kind of bums me out for that. Okay, another duo here. This guy wore two outfits that I didn't like. Thorbjorn Olesen.
Okay, Thorbjorn.
When you get the split up here, you're going to see.
Denmark.
Yeah, so on the right, pick one, right? Purple pants, purple gator belt, sick. Busy shirt on the top. Just wear white.
If it was a white shirt, he might have made the good list.
You're all right. On the left, a pattern that in and of itself, I wouldn't want to wear.
Just not a good pattern.
Hang. Just so it's like having it all over the place is just not going to work. And our last golfer wearing clothes, he's actually, when we get to the end of the year, he's been on both sides So we'll see which category he wins in. But this is Gary Woodland.
Okay.
And it kind of just looks like he sweat through a white shirt.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looked like it was like in the wash with the darks.
With the darks, yeah. There's just like these gray sort of like things on it. I don't know. Gary's been doing great lately. The shirt's not doing great for me. And then here's a true memorial-based archive for you.
I'm excited for this
one. A guy that's won it 3 times. The last time he won it was in 2008. Can you guess who it is?
Well, it's not Tiger. It's Kenny Perry.
Kenny Perry.
He won it 3 times?
Yeah.
Damn.
That's what it says on his plaque in there. I saw it on the way out here.
Don't lie.
Yeah. Look at this shirt. It's almost, I thought it was embroidered flowers, but I think they're printed on there. But this almost looks like, if you know the brand Bodie, like a Bodie golf shirt. It's unreal. And then you got Jack suited up there.
So what I like about Jack is, first, it's an old school collar.
Yes.
But also the tie of the tie. It's like a triangular tie.
It's a wide tie. That's probably like a 4-inch tie.
Yeah, it's a 4-inch tie, but then it kind of pinches up by the collar. So I like
and
that.
He does a tight knot. This tie style is coming back right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like something I'd see in Brooklyn.
Great shout, Dan. That's golfers wearing clothes.
That's golfers wearing clothes. Nice job. Nice job. Speaking of clothes, we on this show we're a big fan of the Manors clothes. Manors Golf Apparel. I love Manors Golf Apparel. We might have an incredible trip coming up with Manors. I'm waiting to see if it comes through. But holy crap, would that be my absolute dream? Like literally my dream. But they're just the greatest golf clothes. I get compliments a lot, especially on the pants, but on all the clothes.
Over on the range, we were just getting some compliments.
We were. So manorsgolf.com, you can look at all of the amazing apparel. Again, it's golf season. You deserve to treat yourself. The pants that have influenced people in my circle to wear, they tell me that they're their favorite pants, and they wish that they would have done it a lot sooner. So go to manorsgolf.com, treat yourself, and use the promo code DOG15 for 15% off your order. Manorsgolf.com, promo code DOG15. All right, we are going to leave here and head home. It's time to go home. We'll be back on Sunday for the watch along, but before we leave, we've got the greatest, just one of my absolute favorites on the PGA Tour, Mr. Siwoo Kim. Enjoy our chat with Siwoo. I'll see you guys on Sunday. All right, we're joined by Siwoo Kim. What's up, Siwoo?
Hey, Dan. How are you?
It's lovely to see you.
Thanks for having me.
You're one of my favorites to have on.
Let's go.
Let's go. How are we doing? Last time you played, so close.
Mm-hmm.
Shot 65 on Sunday.
Uh-huh.
You tied Scottie. Wyndham just got you. After a week like that, are you like proud, or are you more? I mean, at this point, you've had so many top tens, you got to be a little frustrated.
I like the way I played, and then especially like in contention. I think best golf I've ever had, especially like Sunday like that. So a lot of guys chasing like leaders and kept back and forth, and I saw every time I get to the tee box, I saw Wyndham's makes a lot of putts, but I still make a lot of good putts, so I'm proud of myself. And then I thought I'm going to chance, but he played really good, so nothing I can do.
Have you struggled in the past on like with that pressure on, because you said it was the best you've played? I mean, you've won a bunch of times. Do you feel like recently Sundays have been tough?
Yeah, last year at Hilton Head, like I was leading until Saturday, right? And then I got so much pressure on Sunday. Literally, I can feel the shake my hands during the putting, so it wasn't feeling good. And then somehow this year I played so much golf in contention like Sunday.
Yeah.
And I finished bunch second and third, so it gets really comfortable no matter what I finish. So it's getting comfortable, and somehow I got my putting emphasis going. So which is really comfortable.
And no long putter.
No long putter.
You have some honor, you know.
Yeah, I'm getting there. So
since when are you looking at the hole when you putt?
Yeah.
How long?
I think I started at week before Valero. So after Rivera. So Rivera, I had a really rough shaky hands on Saturday. So I don't know what to do. I was thinking about back to long putter.
No, don't do that, Siwoo.
Yeah, exactly. So I try to find a way, and then I searched the YouTube. How did I get rid of the ifs? And some psychologist came out like the one way to like distract the brain, like you look at the like between the hole and putting face. So I tried it the Sunday at the reef. It works. I never shake hands. Day before I had a like brutal shaky hands. So I tried that, never shaky hands, so it just worked.
So you go on YouTube for some golf advice sometimes?
Yes.
Because
that works really good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you play a lot of golf with Scottie Scheffler, right? Like at home and stuff.
Yeah.
Is he as good at home as he is when he's playing on tour?
Yes, I mean, he's good everywhere. No, yeah, even we play golf at home, like, I think he's really passionate and competitive guy, and he don't want to lose. I'd never beat him once.
You've never beaten him once?
Yeah, I never beat him once.
How many times have you played?
A lot, starting last year fall.
Like 5, 10, 20?
Maybe 10, 20-ish between. But
so you're 0 and 15-ish?
Yeah, I twice tie with them, other than I lost a lot.
What makes him so great? Like when you play with him so much, what is it about him that you think is so special?
He can do all the shots, whatever, fade, throw. He can go low and he can go so high. So his shot shaping is really good. And then I think he never been chipping much because hitting at all the greens, but around the green is so good. I just realized this year. So yeah, everything's good. And when I'm playing with him at the home, he never misses inside 10 feet. So I can bet. You
gotta ask for some strokes, you know.
I did.
What do you say?
Yeah, whatever you want.
I mean, you guys are you are competing with him every week, so I don't know if strokes would. It's probably not fair.
Yeah. So yeah.
So you said you have shaky hands. I'm wondering. My producer here, Alex, he drinks about 5 Red Bulls a day. What's your Red Bull consumption looking like?
I'm kind of cutting down, so only drinks 2, 3. Maybe summertime 3 because so thirsty, but yeah, I'm cutting down. I used to be like 5, 6 Red Bull in summer.
Yeah.
At Memphis, I almost got hard on take one time.
What happened?
Because I thirsty, I keep drinking only Red Bull, not drinking water. So I was like heart pumping crazy at the couch, like, oh, I might cut it down a little bit.
You had a moment.
Yeah, I had a moment. So
yeah, so we got to cut out that. We got to cut out the cigarettes, right? Or we?
No cigarette anymore.
Okay. Good man. Good man. What's your favorite part about playing on the PGA Tour?
Like playing with these guys like Scottie, Rory, like all the good players, and then really good golf course, especially this week.
Yeah.
So hard to, like some holes nothing I can do, just gotta go. Sometimes I pretty much every hole trying to make birdie, but some holes I can't do it. So this kind of golf courses I love it. So I mean, I don't have to hit it too far.
Yeah.
I can keep the fairway and then I can keep the green, so I might have a chance. But some weeks, Bahamas Paradise like Houston, so
Houston,
I decided not go there.
Yeah. Do you believe that you can win a major championship?
I think it's really hard. Even not major is so hard to win.
But you've won 4 times.
Yeah, I won 4 times, but yeah, I think I'm getting there. But majors, I have to still work on everything has to be perfect, like driving perfect and iron perfect, has to be putting drops crazy. But yeah, I think I'm trying to get close to getting major, but it's still hard.
What is it about them that's like so much more difficult, you feel like, than normal events?
I think it's driving distance. I feel like every time I get to the major, I think it's some top guys hitting like 190, 180 ball speed. They can carry all the bunkers,
yeah,
which is good. If get over the bunkers, they got like hitting a wedge.
Yeah.
But if I'm into the rough, I gotta chop out with the 5-wood and go from there like 30 yard, inside 30 yard. I have to like hard to break par sometimes. So
yeah,
that's still like big difference. I think my games feels really good, so I'm getting everything similar I can get, but only distance is the tough to bit.
So I saw that clip when you were warming up for, I think it was the Players, and you were watching United against Villa.
Yeah.
You're a big United fan, huh?
Yes.
It's a good season.
Yeah, we had a good season, so we're back to the Champions League.
That's important.
Yeah.
How are we feeling about Korea in the World Cup?
I think we had a good chance to get through the group, but it's still gonna be tough. But I believe our country players, so I wish we can if we get 2 wins, I think it's very good. So I'm gonna cheering a lot.
Are you? I guess the games are in Mexico, so you probably.
Yeah. I might chance to get there. I might chance to see game Netherlands versus Japan in Dallas.
Okay.
So I'm trying to go see Sunday, week before U.S. Open.
So you were telling me that you love Los Angeles. We were talking about you maybe getting a place in Los Angeles. Come out and join me at Brown Country Club. What's going on with that?
Too expensive.
Well, I've seen how much money you've made this year.
Still too expensive. I gotta pay tax. I gotta pay coaches.
You do have to pay tax. You have to pay coaches. Did you say you were saying you got a new place though?
Yeah, I got a new place in nearby my house, 5 minutes away. But yeah, it's still LA is too expensive, and if you're not getting enough a lot of money. Not good for the safety.
Yeah.
Because I saw a lot of robbery there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
At least I gotta get a lot of
Definitely
stuck money.
True.
Yeah.
But you like being in Dallas. I mean, it feels like home for you now.
Yeah, I feel like home, and I feel really comfortable last 3-4 years. So I feel like finally home.
And it's a good big airport you can get everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
President's Cup. You're going to be on the team this year. That's pretty much a done deal.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the year? Is this the year that the internationals can finally overtake the mighty Americans?
I hope so. I wish, and then we saw the shine last time we had Friday. We played really good. We won all the matches that day, so we kind of a little bit too much excited after that. But I think we saw the shine a little bit that day, so yeah, hopefully that happens.
Who's in the international team in the team room? Who's the most funny? Who brings the energy?
I think it's Tom and Sungjae.
Yeah, Sungjae.
Yeah,
wouldn't expect that from Sungjae.
Yeah, I think we all stick together. All the Koreans, we're sneaky funny, I think, and then Tom and I going crazy, and then Sungjae's really funny than everybody think.
He's funnier in Korean?
Yeah, yes.
And the best part about Sungjae is Willie is his caddy.
Oh yeah.
Willie's my favorite person.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. He's the best.
Yeah.
So how are we feeling going into the summer? Have you been to Shinnecock? You know anything about Shinnecock? You played 2018?
Yeah, I played 2018. I think I got miscut that year, and at the time I was driving everywhere, so of course feel way hotter, but hopefully not this year. So I gotta check it. I haven't been since then, so I gotta check it out.
And then have you played well in the British Open in your career? Have you like those courses?
Birkdale?
Yeah, just the Open Championship in general.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's most chance I can close to get win, because there's not crazy rough. Only gotta be careful bunkers, deep bunkers. So I don't have to hit it far, I think, because if I hit it low, I can get to the almost same as far guy. So yeah, that's a little bit easier than maybe US Open.
You got to be happy with your year so far, though. I mean, with how consistent you've been. So many. I think it's 6 top 6 finishes. It's probably your most. I know you haven't won yet, but it's probably your most consistent year so far.
Yeah. I'm happy with where I played this year. So, which is really comfortable.
Just got to keep it going.
Yeah. Thanks.
I appreciate it, Siwoo.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.